Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
All right, let's get it on here on a Monday. Man, busy weekend we're coming out of, and it's a fun overlapping time. Let me hit some buttons here. There we go. Fun overlapping time. You got a lot of sports happening, and, of course, a major sporting event here in our neighborhood. The Players' Championship gets started in earnest tomorrow. I know it's Players' Championship week. Hopefully the weather has blown out and will not bother the big golf tournament. We'll talk about that as the week goes on. Terry Norvelle here. We hope to hear from Patrick Young, who rolled back in from a long Saturday in Charlotte on the SEC Network. The college basketball regular season now is complete. We'll talk a lot about college basketball. Man, I've got some real thoughts also about and before I rip into Duke, I may say, hey, man, they may win the national title. Who knows? They got one of the best, if not the best player in college basketball. They may win the national title, but my God, does Duke get every single benefit of the doubt? We'll get into college basketball heavy today. We've got a couple guests. Brent Beard about 5:30. Our buddy Brent Beard, one of the best in the business when it comes to being a college basketball and football analyst. Brent's got a lot of news and notes, a lot of stuff to talk about, including a busy Saturday, this past Saturday in SEC basketball as the regular season has wrapped up. Maybe a historic regular season. Florida with a business-like win over Ole Miss at home on senior night, and Alabama-Auburn. I hope you saw it. They had to go overtime, and Mark Sears with a floater to win the game, even though Johanny Broome had 34. Auburn goes down. Auburn and Alabama split their regular season games. We'll get into all that, but my goodness, let's start with the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of Jaguars news, and I'm kind of looking around. I found some news and notes that might not be official yet, but I want to go through a lot of these signings. The Jaguars are on the board. I know it felt like all weekend long that everybody else was signing free agents or free agents were signing with their existing teams. The Jaguars are on the board. So far, the major free agent signings. The Jacksonville Jaguars have signed Dallas defensive back Jordan Lewis. They've signed him. He's a free agent that now will be wearing the Jaguars uniform. He was kind of what's described as a slot defensive back. He's going to kind of cover your quick little slot guy. But Dallas DB Jordan Lewis with the Jaguars now signed, it appears. The Jaguars have also gone and got a backup quarterback. They signed Vikings backup quarterback Nick Mullins, kind of a journeyman in the league. Nick Mullins. The Jaguars will need a backup quarterback. Other names that seem to be popping up, wide receiver Dyami Brown from the Commanders. Dyami Brown from the Commanders looks like he has signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Houston safety Eric Murray, it appears he has signed. Patrick McCarry, offensive lineman from the Baltimore Ravens, looks like he's coming over to the guys in Duval. A couple of tight ends as well. It's interesting. They let Evan Ingram go a couple days ago. I think it was age issues and a little bit of a health scare, but a tight end, it looks like, from the Vikings and the Ravens, Johnny Mundy and Hunter Long, looks like a couple tight ends have signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Jaguars are on the board. It felt like they were like the last. Didn't it feel like all the way through the weekend? I mean, obviously we all, particularly with the weather yesterday, we were all in front of TVs and watching sports probably and golf and this and that. And, man, the NFL free agency news was popping. It was scrolling and popping and popping and scrolling. And you never quite saw the name Jacksonville Jaguars. And you were like, well, has Are the Jaguars going to sign anybody? Obviously, they have gotten into the game, so we'll see. How many of these guys will become players, if you know what I mean? Major players in and around the Jaguar roster. Hell, some of them may not even make the roster. Stranger things have happened, but the Jaguars have dipped their toe now in free agency, which you're supposed to do. The Jaguars, I want to say I heard, I think I've got this stat right. It's in the ballpark. Going into this weekend, after the Jaguars made all those cuts, remember we were just going cut, release, late last week. I want to say the Jaguars jumped up from 17th to 7th in terms of salary cap money available. And that happens a lot. Obviously, you cut 7 players. All that money went back. Now, they've spent some, but we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Lewis, Murray, Brown, Macari, Mullins, Mundy, Long. Not exactly a who's who of top shelf name guys that any of us know, but we'll see. The NFL is made up of players that we know the superstars. You need more than just a couple of superstars to win big. So the Jaguars are on the board in free agency. I know that's got to make a lot of people feel comfortable, happy that they're in the game. How good, how talented, how valuable these players will be, we will see. Time will tell. So we'll talk about that. We'll keep that topic going today. SEC basketball from Saturday. The regular season wraps up. A couple of, in particular, Auburn, Alabama. What a game. Auburn and Alabama, they have both now split their 2 games, and the road team has won at the other team's venue. Alabama goes into Auburn and wins in overtime. Fun game, a little bit of everything. We'll talk with Brent Beard about 5:30 about this game, but we'll kick it around a little bit. You had an ejection in the game. You had a player go for 34 points that lost the game. I mean, it was something. Alabama really needed that game. The Crimson Tide had lost like 4 of their last 6. Not that Auburn didn't need the game, and they've lost 2 in a row. But Auburn, you kind of got the feeling, and you kind of get the feeling that Auburn right now, on a 2-game losing streak, which is odd. They've had such a dominant regular season. They're on a 2-game losing streak, but you kind of got the feeling they were going to kind of idle back a little bit. We'll talk about that game, the rest of the SEC. Florida with a really solid, standard, business-like win Saturday over a pretty good Ole Miss team. Florida, a little sloppy early in the first half. They kicked it around a little bit, but the Gators real business-like in the second half. Really dominated a pretty good Ole Miss team, an Ole Miss team that will easily make March Madness. We'll talk about the SEC. Who's in, who's out? Do we think who needs to make a hell of a run in March? I'm sorry, not March Madness, but SEC March Madness. And we've got the bracket here. We'll go over this today. Who's playing who? Where will the Gators play? We know that Florida. We absolutely know that the Florida Gators, they have a double bye in the men's basketball tournament in the SEC in Nashville. They will not play. The tournament starts on Wednesday. Florida will not play Wednesday. They will not play Thursday. Your top 4 seeds get that benefit. They do not play. They get a double bye. Florida, we know 100% the Gators men's basketball team will open up in Nashville on Friday, this coming Friday. That will be game 11. We know that. It will tip off pretty much at 7 o'clock because it's the first game of the second session. And you should control the tip time, so I don't think there's going to be a squirrely tip time. Florida will play game 11, 7 o'clock in Nashville, and they will play one of 3 teams. LSU plays Mississippi State. That winner will move on Thursday to play Missouri, and whoever's left standing out of those 3 teams will play Florida on this coming Friday. So the Gators, we know when they will play, and we know who they will play, sort of. Florida will either play 15 seed LSU, 10 seed Mississippi State, or the winner of that game will play Missouri. They're the 7 seed. Florida, incidentally, The Gators, 27-4. One of their 4 losses was at home to Missouri. So Florida could get Missouri in their first game. The Gators, incidentally, if you have not seen the SEC men's basketball bracket, the Gators are in the bottom half of the bracket. They are the 2 seed. Auburn 1, Florida 2, Alabama 3, Tennessee 4. And you know how they do brackets and tournaments. Florida is in the bottom half of the bracket with Alabama. Tennessee and Auburn are in the top half. Florida could play Alabama on Friday night. Auburn and Tennessee could play each other, on Saturday. And the only way Florida could play Auburn again would be in the Sunday championship. They're in 2 separate halves. 2 separate halves. So, interesting. Really, really interesting. I think Florida has a nice draw. Do the Gators need many wins? No, I don't think so. You probably don't want to lose your first game. It would be nice to win your first game. But I'm not so sure how beneficial to Florida, Auburn, Alabama, and Tennessee playing 3 straight days, grinding it out. It's always nice to win a championship. I get that. It's always nice to win a championship. But I think of the big 4 in the SEC, Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Auburn needs a win. Auburn's lost 2 in a row. That was a heartbreaker the other night. They thought they had Alabama beat. Auburn probably needs a win. And Auburn will play one of 3 teams on Friday night. South Carolina, Arkansas play each other. That winner plays Ole Miss. That winner plays Auburn. So Auburn will get Ole Miss, Arkansas, or South Carolina. Tennessee will get either A&M, Vanderbilt, Texas. Florida, as I mentioned a moment ago, will get either Missouri, Mississippi State, LSU, and Alabama. They really, really needed that win the other day. They got it on the road. Alabama on Friday night will either play Kentucky, Georgia, or Oklahoma. Kentucky would be a tough out for Alabama. Georgia, don't look now, they're in the tournament. They're playing good basketball. Missouri has floundered a little bit. I think Missouri's a good team. Texas A&M, and the last thing Tennessee wants to do is grind one out with Texas A&M. That's a tough little draw there. And Auburn. Arkansas has made a run. They're going to be in the tournament. Auburn, the last thing they want to do is knock heads with Ole Miss right out of the gate on Friday. I think Ole Miss is pretty good. I know they lost Saturday in Gainesville, and they probably will fall out of the current top 25. But I think Ole Miss is a pretty good basketball team. The last thing Auburn wants is to catch Ole Miss on Friday night. They would like the South Carolina-Arkansas winner to go knock off Ole Miss. So we'll talk a lot of college basketball, and we've got our Out of Bounds segment. Our buddy comedian Mike Freed will join us about 5 o'clock. He's been gone on the road for a couple of weeks. We'll get him in here. Before we do that, though, and after we do that, I want to talk some more college basketball. And I've got a real issue. Let me back up. It appears that most of your experts, quote-unquote, college basketball experts, most people right now have, and I know Duke jumped Auburn in the rankings today, I think it was, because Auburn's lost 2 in a row. And I get it. Rankings mean nothing. We've got a big, bad tournament in college basketball, which is wonderful. But let me see if I can pull this up real quick and see if it has updated. It looks like, yeah, here we go. The new college basketball rankings. The AP and the coaches poll both have Duke number 1. Duke has 28-3 record. They're number 1. Houston now has jumped to 2. And I'm going to get on Houston and Duke in a minute. Auburn is 3 in both polls. And Florida is sitting 4 in both polls. Now, when it comes to projecting the top 4 number 1 seeds, it seems like it's pretty consistent now. Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida. I've got a real problem with Florida if this plays out. If the Gators are ranked in the seeding, which can matter, behind Duke and Houston. I'm not going to say one of them. I'm going to say Duke and Houston. Okay. Let me throw some things out at you. Florida, 27-4 in the dominant best conference in America. Auburn, we know what a year Auburn's had. They lost a couple. They're 27-4. Houston, 27-4 also. They won their conference. Florida's number 2. Clear number 2 in the SEC. There's no tie. Auburn won by a game over Florida. Houston won the Big 12. The Big 12 is a nice basketball conference. The Big 12 is in no way, shape, or form as good as the SEC. No lucid college basketball person would make the argument that Houston and their conference is better than Florida and their conference. Houston seems to get the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to even take it a step further, and we're going to bring Duke into this. Duke, the ACC, if they are lucky, will get 3 teams in the tournament. It has been a terrible basketball season for the ACC. Duke is 28-3. They ran away with the ACC. They lost. Their most recent loss was to Clemson. I want you to note that game in the back of your mind. I'm going to get back to that. I'm going to start with Houston, though. I don't understand, and call me Terry Gator all you want. When you look at Houston's body of work, full schedule, way back in November, all the way to right now, and you look at the Florida Gators' full body of work, how any lucid person could say Florida, yes, the Gators are going to get a 1 seed, it looks like, but they're going to get the number 4 1 seed. So they're going to get sent way out west. When you look at Houston's schedule, okay, the Gators are 27-4 in the absolute best conference in America. Houston is 27-4 in the second best conference in America. I don't think there's much of a doubt that the Big 12 is the second best conference in America. Same record, same number of losses. All 4 of Florida's losses are to teams going to March Madness. The worst loss Florida had was to Georgia. Georgia's getting in March Madness. They've been red hot. They're getting in March Madness. Florida then lost to what? Tennessee, who spent time at number 1. They lost to Missouri. Missouri's been ranked most of the year about 15th in the country. They're getting in March Madness. Now, let's look at Houston. Houston has 4 losses on the year. And many people put them as a higher 1 seed than Florida as a 1 seed. So if Houston has 4 losses, let me throw this out. You may not be aware, and I don't know how this doesn't carry an enormous amount of weight. 2 of Houston's 4 losses on the year was to Auburn and Alabama. Let me say that again. Houston has lost 4 basketball games all year. And it is pretty considered across the board that Houston should be a higher 1 seed than Florida. Yet Houston has lost this year. 2 of their 4 losses have been to Auburn and Alabama. Well, let me clue you in on something. Florida has played both Auburn and Alabama. Yeah, those 2 teams that beat Houston. The Gators not only have played Auburn and Alabama, Florida has beaten Auburn and Alabama in 2 games. They're 2-0 against those 2 teams on the road, for God's sakes. Now, we know the rest of the SEC. We know the rest of the wins Florida. Florida also beat Tennessee at the time. They were the number 1 team in the country. I don't understand how Florida could be seeded as a lower 1 than Houston. I think we've got Patrick Young. Pat, are you there?
I'm here. Yes, I am.
Hey, buddy, you look good, man. What's that hat? I like the hat. Talk to me about the hat.
Rex Golf.
Nice. I like it. And I like the sweaty there. What do we got there? SpongeBob?
SpongeBob and Patrick.
Hey, man, are you back, man? You must be wore out from Saturday. That was a hell of a day for you, my man.
Yeah, long day. But
good day.
Best game of the season was the Alabama-Auburn game.
Woo! How about that? It goes overtime. They had to go overtime, Patrick.
Best game. I was hoping the first game was going to go overtime, but Auburn just they shut them down. It sucked. Janai Broome had the best game of his career.
Yeah.
And man, I can't stand that guy, Chad Baker-Mazara, man. There's just something always been about him that just rubs me wrong.
He hurts his team.
And
he's a hothead, man. He hurts his team.
He's 25 years old, man.
And for what people don't know, Patrick's talking about Auburn player Chad Baker-Mazara. Good player. He's a good, solid player. He got kicked out of the game. I mean, flagrant too. That he also was kicked out of Auburn's opening game in the tournament last year where they lost.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
Patrick, you played a lot of basketball, man. It's hard to get kicked out of a game. He's been kicked out of 2 games in less than 2 years. I mean, what's the deal with this guy? He's a hothead.
Well, yeah, he gets kicked out of that game, and I mean, I think he ends up costing Auburn both of those games. Like he's a good enough player.
He is
to help them win games, and also good enough to hurt his team enough to lose games as well.
Yeah. Pat, I want to keep you on here. I'd like to keep you on a little bit of a long segment here, and then we'll bring on a couple other guests, let you get about your business.
I don't want to miss out on the comedian.
Yeah, hey, you're fine. You're fine. You can stick around with Mike. Hey, obviously Auburn and Alabama got together. When you were just tuning in, man, I've got a real problem right now. I've got a problem with Florida being compared to Houston and Florida being compared to Duke. Most prognosticators.
I got a problem with them being compared to Duke more than Houston.
I got them.
Duke, what Houston? Houston has 11 quad one wins.
Okay,
that's the only. But I agree with you on your argument with Houston of like Florida's beating Auburn and Alabama
on the road. On the road.
Yeah. So that, but I think what trumps it all, if Florida goes on and wins their tournament, wins the SEC tournament, then without a doubt they should be the number 2 1 seed above Duke, in my opinion.
Terry,
can you believe this? Can you believe this?
You're going to give a stat that I want to give. Go ahead.
The ACC in conference.
Yeah.
Out of their 100, hey, how's it going? 100 and whatever games that they've played.
Right.
0 of them have been ranked on ranked.
I know. You just trumped me, and I wanted to throw it out. I'm gonna say it a different way, Patrick. I heard it over the weekend, and I went, my God. Do you realize that Duke, and you know what? Duke's good. Don't get me wrong. They could win the national title. They may have the best player in the country in flag. I get it. How about this stat, Patrick, to enhance what you just said? Duke, this year, Duke basketball, their last game against a ranked opponent. Now, let me qualify this, Patrick. They lost to Clemson a couple weeks ago. Clemson wasn't ranked when Clemson beat Duke, okay? Do you realize Duke's last game against a ranked opponent was December 4th against Auburn?
Wow. Now that's
December 4th. The ACC, Duke has not played a ranked team. They have not played a ranked team since December 4th. The ACC is terrible. Why does Duke get all the love, Patrick? Talk to me. I don't understand that.
Because they got a guy named Cooper Flag, and they got a name of Duke.
I know.
And what else they got? Duke. They have a good team.
I agree. They could win the national title, but if you're going by strength, if strength of schedule matters, let me say it again.
Did it matter in college football, Terry?
Yeah, no, I wish it did matter more. They say it's supposed to matter, but it doesn't. It doesn't.
So,
Pat, let me say it again. The Duke Blue Devils, the current Duke Blue Devil basketball team, they have not tipped off a game where the opponent they're playing that night is a ranked opponent since December 4th when they beat Auburn in Cameron Indoor.
That's a better stat. I like that stat. I like the way you said that way
It's
better.
Patrick.
I like it better.
Patrick, what? How does Duke get all this love? I just, and they're good. I get it, but the eyeball test. How Florida?
But they're good. But like now, you saying that makes me think like, dang, I'm not gonna disrespect any of the teams they played.
Yeah.
But you got to be fair and say like, how good are they really? Like they haven't really matched up against a lot of teams that could, like, even on the road.
Yeah.
I think they did lose to Clemson on the road this year, but Clemson was not ranked in that.
At the time, they were not ranked. A couple weeks ago when they lost, Duke has not played a ranked team since December 4th. And I'm with you. Duke could win it all. They may have the best player in the country, but if we're going apples, oranges, I just don't see how Duke. Patrick, I also going to stretch that to Houston. I can't imagine looking at Houston's lost 4 basketball games this year. 2 of their 4 have been to Auburn and Alabama. Florida beat both of those on the road, Patrick.
Also an unranked Texas Tech team.
And San Diego State.
I think Texas Tech was ranked.
Yeah, I think they're getting ranked.
Texas Tech they've snuck in there.
They are, and San Diego State, which plays pretty good basketball. Hey, Pat, we can come back to the SEC real quick, but Miami and FSU now have head coaches. John Lucas, who played a year or 2 at Florida. He's the son of John Lucas. John Lucas gets the Miami job. As you and I talked about last week, Luke Laux gets the FSU job. He was a former bench coach in the NBA. So it's nice. Those two programs have got a lot of rebuilding to do, though, don't they?
You just hope that they follow that idea of bringing in a grizzled veteran, someone that knows the game, that can keep some structure. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but there's just a lot. You got to have a lot of vitality in youth, especially when it comes to the recruiting. But you also just don't want to lose sight of what's important in terms of like the product on the court. So both of those programs. And who do you think has a tougher job right now? I'd say Florida State. I'd say Luke Laux has a tougher job of getting that program back than Miami does, than Jay Lucas in Miami.
And I know Miami went to the Final Four a couple years ago, but with that said, FSU has a little more basketball tradition, and FSU wants to win in basketball more than Miami. I think. I think so. That may support you. Hey, Patrick, let's look. I'll keep you a few more minutes here. Let's look at the SEC basketball tournament. Let's start with Auburn. Auburn's lost 2 in a row after they clinched the regular season. And I could kind of understand the first loss. Obviously, the second loss was to Alabama in an emotional game. Auburn will open up Friday. They'll play the noon game on Friday after a double bye. They're going to get South Carolina, Arkansas, or Ole Miss. Does Auburn need to make sure they win at least one game? Patrick, would it be bad for Auburn to go into March Madness on a 3-game losing streak?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be fine in terms of taking care of that first game. I mean, I predict that it's going to be Auburn, Florida. Florida's going to have a hell of a game in the semifinal against Bama. I don't want to get ahead of Missouri.
Yeah.
Because Missouri did beat Florida earlier this year. Missouri, they've been on a skid.
They have been on a skid.
Yeah, surprisingly, man. Sucks, man. Caleb Grill losing on the senior night.
I know.
Kentucky played a hell of a game, though. Golly, man. They beat him at their own game early, and Missouri couldn't recover.
How about senior night? Florida ruined Alabama's senior night. Alabama ruined Auburn's senior night. Kentucky, a lot of senior nights got ruined, my man, over the weekend. A lot of them got ruined, senior nights.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
About that. My car was dead and had to get it reconnected to our to the
stream. Yeah.
Man, this stupid thing, man. If I leave this battery, if I leave my brake on, it runs my battery. So, I'll be pressing the button to remote start or whatever, and my car is like, nope, it ain't opening. Good try, good luck, buddy.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. Hey, Pat.
I love Old Blue. I love Old Blue, but Old Blue's got her problems too, Terry.
Don't we all? Don't we all? Hey, we
got it.
We talked about Auburn's game. We know when they're going to play noon on Friday. We know Florida will play Friday. That'll be the 7 o'clock game. That'll be the early night. So we know it won't be a drug out game. We'll know they'll tip that bad boy off at the right time. Florida will either play LSU, Mississippi State, or Missouri. Obviously, Missouri would be the tougher one, right, for Florida? They've already beat Florida.
I think so. State's tough. State's just they don't like Riley Cool's played better as of late. I think if you watch that last play in the game, Riley Cool was not passing the ball. He was not giving the ball up. But anyways, I think the good thing is, I guess, for Florida is that all these teams have been skidding as of late.
Yeah.
But you can't sleep, man. You can't sleep.
Would Florida, if they win their first game, we don't know who their opponent will be, but if Florida wins their first game, as you mentioned a moment ago, Patrick, they would move to the Saturday semifinal. Alabama would have to win their first game to meet up with Florida. Alabama would get either Oklahoma, Georgia, or Kentucky. The Oklahoma, Georgia. I think we need to take a step back right now. Hey, what about Georgia not cash? Georgia's in the tournament. I mean, good for Mike White. I mean, they won their way in the damn big dance, didn't they?
Yeah, after losing.
I know.
How many games in a row? 5 or 4 out of 5 or something like that. And
they were tanking it there for a while.
Yeah, big win. Just happy for Coach. Yeah, obviously as a Gator fan, I didn't want to see the Gators lose at Georgia.
Yeah.
But if there was any coach I ever would have respect for, and just Mike White's a good dude, man. Like,
yeah,
and his guys, they fight for him. You can tell if guys kind of give up and don't believe they have a chance. But I've never looked at Georgia this year and thought that they just against the game. I mean, gosh, against Florida, man, that first 10 minutes, Georgia played like a team.
They couldn't miss. They were an NBA team.
They played like a team that it didn't matter what happened before. Like they really believed that they deserved to be there, and they couldn't miss. Absolutely. So, hats off to him for the job that he's done. I know a lot of Gator fans. I'm never, ever, ever, as you are, Terry, one to ask for a coach to be fired unless he's just. Unless he's nasty. He's nasty towards the fans, towards the media, because then you just get tired of the guy. But I've never wanted Coach White to have to go out the way he did. But I'm happy that he's at a place at the Georgia Bulldogs where basketball, where the pressure's not as high, and he's able to really build over there.
If Florida and Auburn, if Florida won their first game and Alabama won their first, they'll meet up. Tennessee and Auburn, if the high seeds hold, Tennessee and Auburn, they're part of the top of the bracket. Florida could only play Auburn in the championship game. With that, let's say it's Georgia, Kentucky playing on Thursday for the winner to play Alabama. Who will give Alabama more trouble, in your opinion, in a semifinal? Would it be Kentucky or Georgia? And Kentucky's not totally healthy, right? They're still banged up a little bit, I think.
Yeah, Jackson Robbins is out for the year.
I know, that's tough.
Do you hear that?
No. What?
It sounded like there was a video that started playing in the background there. Sorry, it's going now. But I think Kentucky, if you see how Kentucky played recently, they played so well. If they can keep that going up, because everyone thought Missouri was going to win on that day.
Yeah, definitely. Florida, I don't necessarily think Florida needs to win the SEC to keep a 1, but they need to go win that first game, right? Friday night. Go win the first game.
Yeah, I really don't think they're going to have issues winning that first game. I'm not worried about that one. I'm worried about the next one. I'm worried about Alabama.
Even if it's Missouri?
I think Alabama's going to win. They're going to be. I just don't think unless they can get Alabama to turn the ball over, As much as, I have one of those games where Alabama has 20 turnovers and they just implode. I can't see Kentucky beating Alabama. And then I see, that Florida Bama matchup is going to be tough, man. And Grant Nelson
You hate
finally
him.
played
You hate him.
like he knew how to play basketball.
You hate him.
He was the X factor. Yes, of course, Mark Sears hit the game winner, but Grant Nelson, he matched just about every Janai Broom bucket. It was awesome to see. I'm like, dude, where has that been all year? Like, you are the reason this team is going to go to the Final Four, honestly.
Hey, and how about a tip of the hat to Janai Broom? Down the stretch in regulation and over, he hit the big shots, didn't he? Oh, Patrick, talk about it, man. Patrick. Talk about it. He hit the big shots, didn't he?
He hit 2 huge threes. I just don't like the play call that they gave him
at the end of regulation.
At the end of regulation,
it was terrible.
He got the ball so far off the block.
Yeah, and
he is really good at that spin move. But you can see Grant Nelson, he was sitting on him on that spin move. And we just didn't, or who was I with? Damian Fishback. We were like, why didn't they give it to him on the other block?
Yeah.
Because on the other block, he's just so good. Just anything, if you get Janai Broom the ball in the paint, anywhere in the paint. And then he took some shots I didn't like where he got at the free throw line and tried to do like that little floater and just missed those. I'm like, dude, don't give the defense a break.
Yeah,
where they don't have to defend you. Go get them. But anyways, Janai Broom, what a game. I really think Coach Pearl was right, as is Coach Oates. Both of those guys might go down as some of the greatest transfer players ever.
Yeah,
in Mark Sears and Janai Broom.
Pat, I want to ask you a couple more questions, and then I want to talk about your work schedule. Then we'll get you out of here. I know you're busy. I'm doing this off the top of my head, but man, does what I'm going to say speak to it generally takes a team to beat a team more than an individual. I'm going to grab Walter Clayton. I'm going to grab Mark Sears, and I'm going to grab Janai Broom. And I'm going to go to all those 3 players. Clayton, I know since he's been a Gator 2 years, he's had 3 or 4 30 or more point games. I know Mark Sears lost a game to Florida where he was in the 30s, maybe 2. Janai Broom had 34 Saturday. All of those superstars, when they get into the 30s, they lose the game. What does that say? What does that say about team basketball? Walter Clayton has scored 30 or more, I think, for Florida in 2 years about 4 times, and the Gators have lost every game. What does that say about team basketball, Patrick?
I don't think it takes away from those individual great performances.
Good point.
I think you point to, like, it's fresh in my mind to remember right now because it's the most recent game, but I'm sure we could point to other things, not exactly like what Chad Baker Mazzara did, not exactly.
Okay.
But other things that teammate, because was there a guy for the Gators that went 0 for 8 that game?
Okay.
Fair Josh Hubbard, when he scored 38 against Texas A&M or whoever that was, Riley Kugel had 0. RJ Melendez had 2 points, and they both played 25 plus minutes.
So he had to score.
That goes to show, like, it's because those players aren't going to get the ball as much, but they are capable. Their possessions are just as valuable, if not more valuable, because they're more scarce.
Yeah.
So if they don't contribute you got to contribute. That team basketball, winning basketball, it's winning plays. It's not just scoring. What are you doing? I always love saying this when I talk to sports teams about one of the greatest lessons Coach Donovan taught us, man. When we get so caught up in the flash and the glory of the score.
Yeah.
The person that, even the scorer has the ball in their hands 5 minutes total in the game. if you have a stopwatch and you time how many seconds they have the ball in their hand
for the whole game,
5 minutes
yeah,
for the whole 40-minute game.
Yeah.
So it's like, what else are you doing in those 35 minutes?
Wow, that's a great
to help
idea.
your team win?
That, Patrick, that is a great coaching moment.
It was brilliant. What else are you doing to help your team win? Because if you're only consumed on scoring, then obviously you already got your mind in the wrong place because you're not getting the ball that much anyway, buddy.
Yeah. I like it. Hey, Pat, let's turn our attention last few minutes with you. Florida, I saw somebody with a write-up, Florida beat Ole Miss, and the word they used was businesslike. I thought it was a real, particularly the second half, that was a real businesslike win. What were you saying at halftime when they came to your when they threw it back to the studio? Florida was a little sloppy there in the first half, but boy, they got businesslike in the second half, and that was a solid. Ole Miss is good, man. They got a good basketball team.
Yeah, man, I just don't know why they're not. I did get, and I'm a fan of Jamin Brakefield. I do like him.
Yeah.
I was mad. I was mad that he did that Gator chomp. So he did it so early.
He fell on the floor, right? Yeah.
He fell on the floor. He was like 1, 2, 3.
No.
Or something like, and I was like, Jamin. I'm like, Jamin, why
you doing that?
But they do got players, man. Matthew Morrell.
Yeah.
Juju Murray or yeah, that's what he goes by. He goes by Juju Murray.
Yeah.
Sean Padula, Malik Dia. It's just something about them, man. They just can't get over that edge. They're always good.
Yes.
They're just not great. They're never great. Yeah. I don't know what it is. They have Chris Beard's got talent. They're better than they were last year. They just can't get over that edge, Terry.
Patrick, are we seeing Alex Condon turn into a first-team All-American if he comes back next year? I mean, his game now, Condon, talk about Alex Condon. My God, he dominated Alabama. He dominated Ole Miss. I mean, he dunked on everybody in Coleman Coliseum the other night at Alabama. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can say goodbye to Alex Condon.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that, Patrick.
The only I can see him coming back.
Can't you see the game changing
to be with his best friend? To be with his best friend,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Him and Tommy Houck. I mean, Tommy Houck's going to play himself into the draft conversation too. I think he might benefit honestly from his boy not being there. I don't know. It's possible get some more shots up, but
talk
Alex Condon, man, he does a little bit of it all. He does a little bit of it all now, man. He's shooting it well. He's playing way better than he ever has. He's playing the best basketball.
Absolutely. His last two games. Patrick, I think we're kind of, sometimes it happens to players. I think we're seeing Condon. I mean, he dominated Alabama, and he dominated Ole Miss. That was a man among boys. He went, what did he have against Ole Miss? 17 and 15. He had 15 rebounds.
Yeah, he had 15 rebounds, yeah. Yeah, and then he, gosh, man, that game against Bama, wow. He just kept coming at those guys. They had no response, no answer, no chance to slow him down.
Yeah,
that was awesome. But that's what you want out of a guy that's that big, man. With that much size, you want a guy that's gonna play like that.
But he's got athleticism. He's got
great athleticism. He is very athletic. He's very athletic.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, this is a terrible topic for me to bring up. We've got all off season. We've got all next basketball season to bring it up. But I'm gonna bring this up right now. I'm watching the game Saturday, Florida Ole Miss, and from a talented athletic standpoint, I'm watching Aberdeen on the court with Klavzar. And Klavzar would be in that situation, Klavzar is more the point. Aberdeen's 6'4", he would be your 2. I know we got a long way to go, and I shouldn't even bring this up. Patrick Young, if those were your 2 starting guards, your 1 and your 2, I could live with that. Klavzar is a hell of an athlete, and we know Denzel's a great athlete. Denzel Aberdeen is 6'4". I don't think people realize he's that big.
Yeah, he is 6'4". Yeah. He's a lot bigger than you think. But they're gonna have to for sure grab somebody out of the portal.
Yes,
They're
they
gonna
are.
have to grab a few guys out of the portal.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. I would love to see. I'm sure they already have like nowadays. You got to probably have a list
You would think.
of guys that you just think might enter the portal.
You would think.
Just so you're ready and hopefully doing things the right way. No tampering. We know tampering is it's happening, man.
Sure it is.
Everyone's doing it. Either if you're tampering with the guy, hey, reach out to that guy. Walter, I need you to reach out to that guy over at Iona to see. That kind of stuff is happening. But yeah, I think you got to replace 3 awesome players. Will they be able to do that next year? I don't know. I hope so.
Do you remember in August, you and I and our show, we were at Spurrier's, and you had a book signing, and we were live at Spurrier's. And you remember Coach Golden came over? We had Coach Golden on the show. And
I remember that. I remember Coach came on. Yep.
He brought Will Richard, and Will Richard. Yep. Will Richard was a good player last year. Will Richard's a different player this year. I mean, Pat, I don't know how that happens. He has taken his game way up, hasn't he? Really nice.
He's a monster, man.
Really nice season.
He's playing like a man. He's playing like a man possessed. Like it's unbelievable. He's on another level.
I agree. Hey, Pat, I'll let you go with this.
I love watching him play. I love watching him play.
Passionate. He's seasoned. He's been around the game a long time. Belmont, Florida. By the way, he's played a lot of college basketball games. That's valuable. That is valuable. He has teed it up.
I was just thinking about this the other day, man. Just looking at this team now, looking at this team and this roster, man. And look, again, no disrespect. Coach White, his last season, he really struck out.
He had some players.
And then,
he had some
Todd
players.
Golden, like his first year, if he didn't have Colin Castleton, we had, we had Kyle Lofton. Remember him?
No.
You don't even remember him. Look how bad that is. He was a starting point. He was starting point guard. You remember Myron Jones?
A little bit. They brought him in from some portal somewhere.
From Penn State, and he was supposed to be a shooter. He was a shooter
terrible.
that couldn't shoot.
He was terrible.
Shooter, dude. Kawasi Reeves.
I remember Kawasi Reeves. Yeah, I remember that guy. He had great hair.
Jason Jatobo.
He had great hair. Hey, Reeves had great hair.
No, he didn't. He had Jason Jatobo.
I remember Big Jason, big boy, big dude.
CJ Felder.
Oh, what a bad name. Oh, Patrick.
Dude,
would
any of those guys get minutes on this team?
Not even close. Not even close. And you know what? The guy on the Florida roster that you hate is slowly turning into a good player. Chinlu Nu or whatever his name is.
I don't.
Ruben.
You
hate Ruben.
Him.
You hate Ruben.
But look, he's not playing as much now that Mike is in. He's not playing as many minutes in that iconic.
But it's a good mix.
Less.
But it's a good mix. Hey, Pat, I'm going to leave you this. We talked a lot about Gator basketball, SEC. Last team I want you to address, and I don't know what you guys may have said about this team in the half times on Saturday. Boy, it seems like Tennessee has caught a little bit of fresh air. They look stagnant there for a while. Is Tennessee back? Have they found a little second wind? Maybe, I don't know.
Bro, they had South Carolina. Come on, man.
I know, but they look like they're playing. They look like they were carrying around a weight on their shoulders maybe early in the season.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, for sure. It was senior night, and
number one ranked team.
Zakai Ziegler, he's about to break their all-time assist record, which is pretty cool. He had 8 assists in like the first 10 minutes. It's crazy.
Are they a threat, Patrick, in March Madness? Have they turned the corner?
Oh,
back?
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Just with their defense, and then you got to look at it this way too. Like if these teams that are peaking in the right direction, they've been going against teams that have scouted them so well.
Good point.
And have played so well again. Like will teams be able to match up and stop Chaz Lanier the way that they have here recently? I don't think so. Like Tennessee is a team that I don't think would really face some real friction until like maybe their first Sweet 16 game.
I got you. All right, Pat, we'll let you get out of here. What's your work schedule? So you are for the SEC?
Well, what's
and
great, man?
What's going on with you in the SEC?
I got nothing this week. It's pretty awesome.
What?
Other than probably people wanted me to hop on their podcast or radio shows.
You'll be busy.
Yeah. That's no work this weekend, which I'm grateful for. Like, look, I'm game for doing a bracket, but like, I don't obsess over this stuff.
No.
I don't. You and we don't have gambler's brain.
No.
So I'm cool with predictions. I'm cool with, but like for me to really have like a, to tell you, yeah, Florida for sure is going to make the Final Four. I will never be that guy.
Yeah, I'm with.
What's the point, man? Like yeah. Hey, do you think UConn can do something crazy and strike gold this year?
I think they're a mess. They're a mess right now,
man.
aren't they?
That coach, man.
You mentioned Final Four. Kevin Keats at North Carolina State gets fired today after taking them to the Final Four last year. Wasn't it last year? They went to the Final Four with the big guy. Now they had to win.
They were gonna fire him last year before they made that run. He did kick in like an extension or something by making it there, but they didn't care about that buyout.
Yeah. Which that tells you they said, hey man, last year was a fluke. They had to win like 9 straight games or go home, and they did. But remember, they had the big guy everybody fell in love with. The big
DJ Burns.
Nice. All right, PY, get out of here. We'll visit as the week goes on. And, man,
sounds good.
It's a good time of year, my man. It is a good time of year. All right, brother.
I'm ready for us to get into this baseball and softball. I can't wait for that.
Hey, you just wait. We got March Madness, pal. You just wait. Don't be
sounds good.
Don't race it. That's our buddy Patrick Young talking a lot of basketball. We'll have Pat on a little bit later in the week, of course, because, well, the show is the Young and Norvelle show. It's his show. I'm just along for the ride. Let's take a break here. We're going to come back. We'll take it out of bounds. We like to do, on Mondays, we like to kind of kick around some of the lighter side of sports, and we've got some crazy stuff. Our resident comedian, Mike Freed, should join us here momentarily. And then, real quick, 5:30, Brent Beard talking college football and basketball. You don't want to miss the next 2 segments here on the Young and Norvelle Show on Action Sports Jacks.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device, you're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
All right, back we are. There's a good look at the practice facility, the Miller Electric practice facility down by the stadium, as the Jaguars have gotten on the board. Jacksonville's on the free agent board. They don't always get to go first because I don't think they're the number one destination for all your superstar players. But free agency is continuing in the NFL. Jaguars have gotten on the board. I won't go through all of them, but it looks like they've signed several players, most notably Jordan Lewis, defensive back from Dallas. It looks like he is inked with the Jaguars. Offensive lineman Patrick McCarry from the Ravens, backup quarterback, and the Jaguars needed to do something at quarterback. Nick Mullins, he's a journeyman. I mean, he's a guy you want to play a quarter here if you have to, half there. You don't want to put a lot of emphasis on him. But the Jaguars are going to need a backup quarterback. You know, the NFL, it's a different game now. It is a different game. You better have, how can I say this? You better have 1.5 quarterbacks, because the days of the 14-game regular season in the NFL with the running back being the feature position, those are long gone. You play 17 regular season games, the odds of your starter staying upright 17 games is very low. You better have at least a quarterback and a half. You better have somebody in there. Jaguars have signed about 7 players, but those are the big guys. Lewis, defensive back from Dallas. Obviously, Jacksonville has to absolutely reinvent the secondary. What a disaster. Did they really think Ronald Darby was going to help? I mean, I still look to last offseason with the Jaguars, and I pick at my friends a lot, my what I call them the fluffy local Jaguar media. But do you remember this time-ish last year? Well, Ronald Darby, well, he'll come. Ronald freaking Darby? Mitch Morse at center? Eric Armstead? Maybe Eric Armstead. Gabe Davis. This time a year ago, Gabe Davis was literally the love child of Michael Irvin and Jerry Rice, according to the local media. Jaguars obviously revamping. It is they can say all they want. It's not a house cleaning. It's not a rebuild. Well, folks, guess what? I'm kind of a neutral member of the media, so you can trust me. It is a house cleaning, and it is a rebuild. Of course it is. And that also tells you that the Liam Cohen regime, they've been given a mandate that, hey, man, use year one to get it back together. I don't think year one means diddly poo. The Jaguars, I think, could go 0-17 and lose 100-0 every game. I think Shad Khan has told Liam Cohen, and Liam Cohen has told this staff that year one is a rebuild. It is clearly clearly a rebuild. Boy, what a fun year. What a fun time of year, I should say, with regard to NFL free agency. It seems like, and I don't have this, official, but it seems like a lot of these hotshot free agents are re-signing with their own teams. Myles Garrett re-signing. How about Myles Garrett re-signing with Cleveland? And I think Myles Garrett even had one of those, hey, Cleveland, city of, thank you, it's been great, I loved my time here. And then he re-signs. Darnold, it looks like sources are reporting, NFL sources, Darnold to the Seahawks on a $100.5 million deal. Wow. Jets reach $40 million deal with quarterback Fields. Obviously, he will not be at Pittsburgh anymore. Commanders trade for Texans offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil, who's a Ole Miss guy by the way of Lake City. Fun time of year. A lot of people moving around. Another big signing, I thought. Eagle star Josh Sweat to the Cardinals, to Arizona on a $76.4 million deal. So some big names moving and some big names staying put. The Steelers were on the move today as well. So fun time of year. We got a little bit longer for this, and then it will be 100% draft talk as the NFL draft comes up later in April. We've got some out of bounds sports we'll get to momentarily. If you weren't with us the first of the show, let me rehash a little college basketball talk and Florida Gator basketball talk. I think Florida's done enough this year. They should be a 1 seed. I think they're going to get a 1 seed, but I don't necessarily agree with Florida being the number 4 1 seed. And it does matter. It matters where you're going to get sent to. Duke is now ranked number 1. Duke had a perfect week, and obviously Auburn lost a couple games. I'm a little perplexed on the Duke love when you just look at Duke may win the national title in basketball. They've got the best player in college basketball. He can go off for 40 points any moment. I'm not saying Duke's not good and Duke can't win the national title, but I don't see how you could put Duke or Houston ahead of Florida when you're setting the pecking order of your top 4 seeds. I'm going to say this stat again, and I heard it over the weekend, double-checked it, and it's true. Duke, this year's Duke basketball, ranked number 1 now in the AP and the coaches poll. They're going to get a 1 seed, and right now, if everything holds, they're going to be a higher 1 than Florida. I don't know how that happens. Duke has not played a ranked basketball team since December 4th when they beat Auburn in Cameron. Blows me away that you can have that type of run and not play a ranked team. That's December 4th, by the way. Let me spin it to Houston real quick. Houston, great season. They're 27-4 as well. Houston has lost 4 basketball games. Yet a lot of your number 1 seed prognostications have Houston a higher seed than Florida as a 1. Houston's lost 4 games. 2 of their losses are to Alabama and Auburn. Oh, by the way, Florida has beaten Alabama and Auburn. I don't know. What the hell do I know? You know what? Let's back things up a little bit. Let's go to the lighter side of sports. Let's take it out of bounds. Oh, my. Look who's here.
How you doing, my friend?
Oh, the comedian. Comedian. Are you a comedian or a comedian, Mike Freed?
I think it's just comedian.
Is a comedian a female?
I don't think that's a word.
Comedian? That doesn't mean female?
Be like a sitcom with a woman named Ann, and she's really funny.
Comedian. What is a female comedian then? Is it just a funny woman?
Yeah, well, it's just comedian.
How you been? You've been traveling the world. What are you doing?
I have.
Now, am I paying you to travel the world? You missed 2 Mondays.
I can honestly say you pay me as much when I'm here as when I'm not here. So,
where'd you go, man? I saw some of your photos. They look good.
I was in Europe. I did a river cruise. It was delightful.
Europe encompasses a lot. Where?
Started in Amsterdam, went through Germany, a little bit of France. Got to see the red light district. Never seen that before.
And
Yeah, I mean, for a seedy thing, they do it
If
pretty
you-
well.
Let me ask you this. As you walked into the Amsterdam red light district,
Yes.
and let's just say for what's and giggles, you had 500 American bucks.
Right.
When you walked out, how many American bucks did you have in your pocket?
I didn't participate, but I think part of what they do.
You know, God and Santa are always listening.
I
right?
do.
Okay.
I think it's. I don't think it's
Was it
terrible.
gross?
I did. They tell you about it. No, I mean, like I say,
Were they really in the windows? Hey,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
come talk.
Yeah, but it's very heavily regulated. It's
Okay.
also sort of price controlled, I'm told. So, like I say, for something like that.
Why'd you pick Amsterdam?
Well, that's where the cruise started. It was a
Okay.
river cruise.
There
It
you go.
started in Amsterdam and went all the way to Switzerland.
Nice.
And it's a great way to travel. I highly recommend it.
Did you go with a group, couple people, intimate travel?
I went as a sad, lonely man.
Oh,
No,
my.
I decided to travel by myself.
And I wish I hadn't asked that.
No, I actually enjoyed
yeah.
it. It was by choice. It was by choice.
You've got a friend in me.
Oh, no, it's great. It's a good place to go on your own. It's a good place to go with couples and groups, and you meet a lot of people. It's a small group of people on the
Nice.
ship.
How many days were you there?
I was there for about 8 days on the cruise, about a day on each side. So.
Good food, bad food.
Oh, amazing food! Yeah, it's different than your
Yeah.
ocean cruises, which I think are the Greyhound of the ocean. This is a
Whoa.
pretty high end, pretty good food.
Where'd you fly out of to get there and all? What was our?
I flew
trek?
from Jacksonville to DC to Amsterdam, and then reverse coming back
Everything
from Switzerland.
good? No crazy flight people?
No, I was actually very smooth.
You didn't go nuts on the flight, did you? I'm going to jump
No.
out of the plane.
And I will say this: I've spent 30 years traveling with one or more of my 5 children, one or more, not usually more, of my ex-wives. And it's nice to travel by yourself
Maybe.
and just sit back in
Do
the
your own
seat.
thing.
You watch a movie when you want to watch a movie.
your own thing, yeah.
You sleep when you want to sleep.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nice to travel with people too.
Speaking of travel, and we're with Mike Freed, our comedian who joins us on Mondays a lot of times. You may have still been out of town. This was 4 or 5 days ago. There was a big national story. It was Southwest Airlines, which I
Yes.
like Southwest. Get where you want.
They're changing that now.
I know. I heard. I hated that. Southwest, a recent Southwest airline, some lady stripped naked
Right.
and was parading up and down the
Huh.
the flight. They were up in the air and all. And
Right.
In related news, Southwest ticket sales went off the chart.
I bet. And she was not in the nude section, as I understand
I don't
it.
think she was in the nude section. No,
I saw in related
she
airline.
was back in the Mile High section.
Yeah, I guess, or at least waiting for a participant.
Hi,
I saw when, like these super first class sections for international flights, they have like they are like little rooms that you get in and you have a bed.
Oh my.
And they even have their own private bathroom.
Oh my.
And there was a lady who was complaining that her bathroom, which had a window in it, the window for the whole section.
I saw that.
Yeah, like it was right in the middle where
And
the
it
toilet
wasn't
was.
covered.
Yeah, but I mean,
You're 35,000.
right, exactly. And the response of the airline was, "Ma'am, if somebody sees you at 35,000 feet,
It's
we got
God.
bigger problems
It's
than
God.
some guy looking in your window."
Yes, I saw that. Hey, I think we got a lot of stuff to talk about with Mike Freed, our buddy who joins us a lot of Mondays. I want to see, Casey, do we have that clip? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were going to tell me that.
Have you seen, before we play it,
This is the Sprinter, right?
this is a high school track and field championship. I think.
Right.
It's like a 4x400
Yeah.
relay. So
Is it accidental or is it purposeful? All right. All right, here we go.
Watch. And you carry a baton because you have to pass the baton. So
Yeah.
look at the second and third place girl. Look at the girl. Bam!
Oh, wow.
She absolutely
Yeah, she
punches
did.
her with the Watch.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, she just takes the
That-
arm back.
That wasn't accidental, was it, Mike?
No, it doesn't seem
Look!
accidental.
Look!
So,
How dare you pass me?
And is everyone who's listening to us able to see this, or some people are
Yes.
just listening, unless they're
No,
blind?
This is what we call a streaming show. You
I
keep
see.
saying, we're not on the radio.
Oh,
This is
I don't know.
streaming.
I
Everybody
see.
sees that beautiful face.
Oh, lucky them. Lucky them.
But what about that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
She clocked her in the head.
Yeah, and I assume there's a rule against that?
Now, pretty much, they call it pugilist or whatever.
I don't know. It's legal in some sports.
Would you have taken that case if the
Oh.
baton puncher had called you? Would you have
It's-
taken that case?
It's not my kind of case, but it's a good case. I could.
What is your argument against that?
Yeah, well,
her head hit the baton.
I mean, you do assume the risk in sporting events that, among other things, you could get hit in the head with a baton, but not when someone steps outside the rules. I mean, that gets to like football, right? I mean, in football, you assume the risk of a lot of different things happening. But let's say one of the players brought a knife, right? You did not assume the risk of a knife.
To a gunfight?
Or a football game, as the case. But what about a fight in the middle of a football game?
Yeah.
Do you assume the risk of that? In a hockey game, for sure.
Yeah. So you could actually argue, if you were the defense for the girl, she clearly, consciously bludgeoned her with the baton. And because it's a relay race, you have a baton.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
And basically, it was, how dare you pass me?
It seems to be she was just putting on the passing gear, wasn't she? And then the young woman just clocked her right in the head. Yeah, I don't know what goes through somebody's mind. I mean, it's not so different.
Are you so hardened, Mr. Freed?
Yes.
Did that not shock you? Or are you just a hardened attorney?
I'm just a hardened human being. Nothing shocks me anymore.
When's your next gig?
Wednesday at the Comedy Zone Jacksonville, the lovely Ramada under the interstate.
Yeah.
So come on out and see me tell some yucks.
Wednesday, so
day after tomorrow.
A couple. Will you be one of the 2 or 3?
It's a
opening
showcase.
Acts, or how's that work?
It's a regional showcase that they do at the Comedy Zone. I think weekly now, and should be a good show.
If
Come
I
out.
showed up Wednesday, knowing how funny I am, would I intimidate you if I'm in the audience? Should I not show up?
No, you should show up.
Because you would be going, there's a funnier guy here than me.
That's okay. That's okay. It inspires greatness in me for sure.
No, I mean,
you should definitely
this is my gig. That's your gig. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
But it probably would intimidate you. See a funny guy like me.
It would. It would. But I would enjoy seeing you. Come on out. It's a great show.
Do you have a nice little section of family and friends, or are they done with that with you?
I mean, they come randomly. You can only invite your family and friends so many times
sure.
before you actually have to find people that think you're funny.
No, Mom, I'm on the radio. Just turn it on. It's me.
Now, my mom does have dementia, so she could probably come to every show.
And laugh her ass off.
It'd be new jokes every time for her.
Nice.
So,
And we kid because we care.
I love Mom, yeah.
We kid because we care. All right, we missed you for a couple weeks. We've really
true.
missed you. We had some funny stuff.
I saw that. Thank you. You shared with me some of the things you've been covering.
Yeah, we barely touched them, and I didn't want to dive into it. Number one, how about this? I'm just going to throw some things at you.
Please.
Okay, and you can. They may be not good things, good things.
We'll make them good.
14 and under hockey in Detroit.
Right.
Okay, so 14 and under young kids.
About my size, basically.
Yeah, me, you and me.
Yeah.
You and me. 14 and under hockey, Detroit. I think this was last week. We kicked it around. So, good news. One of the goalies.
Yes.
8 saves. You understand? Wow. I mean, it's Wonder Woman.
That's amazing.
98 saves for this guy. Into the game, his team lost 43-0.
Oh my gosh! Did his team shoot at all? Was it just him and how many players? 10 players on the other side?
He must have been bludgeoned.
Yeah.
So he stopped 98, but 43 snuck by the goal.
But how is there enough time for that many? That's like 150 shots thereabouts.
The other thing that struck me, Mike. This guy, as I read it and researched it, after you've allowed like 30, don't you pull him? Just for his own mental.
Well, it depends on the order, right? I mean, you started it with a quite a sensational statistic. Is there anyone in the history of
98
hockey
saves.
that's 98 saves? That's really good.
Yes.
That's really good. It reminds me.
Does that go in the record book twice? Most saves, most goals.
Yeah.
He gave up 43.
Right.
They lost 43-0, but he stopped 98. By the way, the other guys that couldn't score against him, don't they get cut?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was free goalie night.
I guess it was. It reminds me, I played on Edward Waters' like a faculty student team years ago because I've done some legal work for him, and apparently they were scraping the bottom of the barrel of who might be able to play.
You played hockey for them?
No, not hockey, basketball.
Oh, basketball.
And
wait a minute, you played basketball for them?
I did. I can move, but to my point, I will state my statistics this way: I only missed 2 shots in the game, and then your follow-up is. How many shots did you take?
Yes.
Of which I took 2.
Now, how many of your 2 were blocked?
They didn't need to be blocked here. Let's be honest. They were probably air balls.
How many of your shots touched anything remotely considered a backboard, a stanchion, a rim, a net?
I don't know. That's a good question. I bet you I got within the
What
air.
was your sport?
Why you're in law we would call that a leading question
What
because
was
it
your-
assumes I had a sport.
I know I'm led because I'm thinking 3 or 4 sports could have been your number one. What was your one?
Oh, I was equally as bad at many of them. I mean, it's a question of which sport I failed at which point in life. So I played some neighborhood pickup football. I don't know if that counts as anything. I did play baseball for a little while until the kids could throw really fast but not very accurately.
Stupid kids.
And I took a couple in the ribs, and I'm like, this sucks.
That'll do it.
Basketball, obviously.
But now you are a golfer.
No, I'm ultra runner. And a very
You're
bad
runner.
golfer.
So no golfer? Do you play at all?
Yeah, I wouldn't call what I do playing. I like to look in other people's houses, and so golf is a good sport if you like to. If you're a voyeur.
A stalker.
Well, I mean, if you have a golf club in your hand, you can look in other people's houses and nobody cares.
Yeah,
could even bring binoculars.
Speaking of stalking, because we always like to speak of stalking.
Right.
I had a little turn there when it comes to with the lady.
Yes. Right.
Single.
You sure you want to say this on air?
Well,
I'm
yeah,
assuming...
and there was a situation probably with a legal situation.
Did it involve public urination?
No, a public, law. 15, 20 years ago, I thought I would show a girl I cared and wanted to court her. Maybe you'd be outside her window and in behind the bushes. Well.
Oh, you mean
at
like
some
the,
point,
the say anything?
Yeah, but at some point they then started. I call that courting.
Yeah,
they changed that to stalking.
Yeah, it's
a few years ago.
Did you get called on that infraction?
Yeah, I said sorry.
Oh,
I thought I was courting her.
Oh, well, it was
Your
unwelcome
Honor.
Courting. Right?
Yes, they now call that stalking. Where's that line blurred?
It's a question of whether it's welcome or not. This was obviously not
Well,
your wife.
They didn't see me yet. I was scouting the courting.
Yeah, I mean, did you do like multiple houses that night?
It's none of your business, pal.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, yeah.
It's none of your business.
I think that's stalking, Terry.
All right, we
by
missed
any definition.
You shut your filthy mouth. What are you, an attorney? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
You are an attorney. How about this? Out of the world of hockey.
Yes.
LA Kings. Right? Hockey. They didn't exactly. We laughed about this last week.
Yeah.
I want to throw this your way. I don't know if you saw this. The Kings.
The scarf thing?
They had a big promotion. Now, who knew?
Right.
Well, we all know Armenia. A country called Armenia.
Oh, that's the whole thing about it? Yes.
Okay.
I know it exists.
And Armenia borders Turkey.
Right.
So far, so good.
As far as you know.
They don't like each other.
Yeah, that makes sense. Usually places that border each other
They don't like it. And you know what, Mike? They haven't liked each other for a long time.
Right. Well, probably one of them was part of the other at some point.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the backstory.
And you're going to get to the LA Kings at some point?
The Kings decide last week they're going to have a big promotion. Every sports team.
Yeah.
Tonight's game is a
bobblehead night.
So it's hockey. It's cold. There's ice down. Big scarf giveaway.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean,
now,
you might want to come there with a scarf.
Now, who knew?
I
do now. No, but who knew before this that Los Angeles has the largest Armenian population anywhere in the world outside of Armenia?
Interesting.
They've got more Armenian people.
Right.
So they have a special giveaway promotion, giving away scarves. And, of course, if you look at the tag, made in Turkey.
Oh, no.
Mike.
Wow. Okay.
That turkey.
You're saying that these people got the scarves. There were enough Armenians there who read the care and handling and made in tag. And then what did they do? Protest mid-game?
It wasn't good.
Really?
It made the news. I mean, Armenians hate Turkey. Turkey made the scarf and we put it away.
Isn't that interesting?
Did I mention LA is the second most populated Armenian location in the world?
You did. But I'm just that's a big
that would
hate.
Make you mad?
I don't know. I'd be like, the Turkish people had to make our scarves. That's how much better we are than them.
Maybe Turkey could trade a sandwich for the scarf.
Think of like in a relative sense. I mean, China makes a lot of our stuff, and we're not exactly on great terms with them. And
but we need their stuff.
We do need their stuff.
Yes.
Was it? That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen made in Armenia. You would think that.
Have you got a scarf from the LA Kings?
They had to go out of their way to find.
How does that happen, though?
Yeah.
Well, out of all the, how many places in our world you think make winter scarves?
I
and they ordered
93.
from Turkey.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Everything, at least it's bad fortune. It goes to the old expression, which I love, which is "no good deed goes unpunished."
Yeah.
Because you really do have to think about, like, if you're having a party, and it's a big party, and you spend a lot of money, you spend a lot of time, you bring in entertainment, and the people you invite, they'll be fine. But the 2 people you don't invite,
Oh yeah.
you'll never hear the end of it.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why I don't throw parties.
Oh yeah. Your gig coming up.
Uh-huh.
Have you got it written yet, or are we gonna write it, or
Yeah.
when do we write our gigs?
Well, I mean, I'm always writing jokes. It's a question of which combination of tried and true versus maybe some new things I would try out at a show like that. So got some stuff I'm working on.
Okay.
Got some fun stuff. Trying to gravitate away from political stuff because nobody seems to like that. You're gonna make somebody upset.
Yeah.
So I'll
And
just
our country's perfect now.
right. I mean, now that we fixed everything, we've cured racism.
That's as far as I'm going to go into that. But,
yeah. Life is,
we're perfect.
Where's that?
Do you have a couple things? Because I got a couple more things.
well, your things are good. I could save my
Okay,
things.
hold
I was
on.
going to talk about mascots and stuff, but we can do that next week.
Is it good?
Although I'll be in Colorado next week. You pay me too much here,
Is it
obviously.
good? I know. My
No.
God, you're willy-nilly just flying around.
I know.
Are we flying? Are we
Colorado?
cruising? What are we doing?
Going skiing.
Yeah.
Going
Are you a
skiing.
skier? You know how to ski?
Yeah, I know how to ski. I can
Now, are
ski.
you going solo again?
I am going solo
God,
again.
my God.
It's the way to travel,
Hold
man.
on. We got to start. What do they call that where you collect money?
Crowdfunding for escort service for me.
Yes, yes, and yes.
That would be good content.
All right, here we go. I've got
All
a
right.
couple more things, and
Yeah,
we can get to
please.
yours before I kick you out. I mean,
No, that's all right.
before your time's over.
No, that's all right. Let's stay with yours. I saw the Jaguars one. That's pretty good.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second, but I don't know if I push this to your way today.
Okay. Surprise.
This could be.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to help me. Possible sports headline of the year so far.
Okay.
This could be it, and I got to get you and everybody out there. Think Super Bowl. Most recent Super Bowl. Think Super Bowl halftime show.
Okay, sure.
Okay, you digging
You got
on
the
that?
diss track.
You digging on? Okay, yeah. I think that. This I saw today.
Uh-huh.
And I thought this was brilliant. It could be the early later in the clubhouse
Mm-hmm.
sports headline of the day. Drake
All right.
basketball. They've been to March Madness a bunch.
That Drake.
They made the they won their Missouri Valley.
Yeah.
They're going to March Madness. Drake headed to the big dance. Hopes to avoid Sweet 16 confrontation with Lamar.
Oh, that's actually pretty good. What a
Lamar makes the tournament.
wow!
So, you get it?
Obviously, the author
You
or
get
the
it?
editor was just having some fun. Because is Lamar even in the tournament?
Well, they have been, and they may make it.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
But is that Drake makes the
It's,
tournament off and
yeah,
on?
yeah.
And
No, that's perfect.
am I reading too much into that?
No, I think
Great
it's
headline.
great. Did people comment on it, or they was just they were having some fun?
I wasn't on a commenting platform kind
Yeah.
of.
You have a show, so we can
Even
you
that
comment
well,
here.
There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah, that's
Do
pretty
you
funny.
like the headline though?
I love that headline. I
get
like
it?
that they had some fun with that. I think it's good.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, no,
Drake,
obviously, yeah,
right,
they
and
don't-
They both go to March Madness occasionally.
Yeah, that'd
so
be-
they don't want to face each other.
I really do hope they play though. That'd be some
Wouldn't
great
they great?
T-shirts and stuff like that.
Oh.
Drake versus Lamar.
Would it? Be
People would
great?
buy that didn't even go to the game.
It would be great. You mentioned the Jaguars, and hey, by the way, they've gotten in the game. They've signed a few
I
players.
know, isn't that
they
crazy?
cut 1 million guys.
Is
but
it even time to do that?
Yeah,
Isn't this
yeah,
still
we're-
like the interference time?
No, today is what they call legal tampering day. I
Which-
swear to God, they call
It's like
that.
national legal, which means it's okay to legally tamper.
Correct.
Well,
You-
I love these words.
Isn't that great?
Legal
God bless the
tampering.
NFL.
Yeah.
Have you heard though?
Which, by the way, is what you were trying to do outside that lady's house.
right?
All right.
Little legal tampering.
And apparently, it was not legal.
You know me. Tell them you know me.
It was legal.
All right. We went to school together, ma'am.
It couldn't have been everyone on the street, Terry, and it wouldn't have explained why your pants were down.
I grew up in this neighborhood. They
oh
all,
yeah. I like your defense. We went to school together. That's who you always stalk, somebody that you went to
They
school
all
with.
know me. That's
yeah.
why.
Yeah, they know you is the problem. That's not going to help
Have I
you.
ever told you to shut your filthy mouth?
Many times.
Yes. Did you see this though? Jaguars. This is true. You know, we all know kind of. You start hearing who the
Right.
Jaguars might be,
Yeah.
and they need line of scrimmage help.
Right.
Obviously, offensive line, defensive line. Well, the defensive lineman supposedly the Jaguars like the best.
Right.
Is the kid from Michigan,
Right.
Mason Graham.
Right.
Little fire plug, good guy.
Yeah.
The offensive lineman, if they go first and they think tackle.
Yes.
You know, Will Campbell, the
Right.
LSU guy. Maybe he could play guard, but have you heard the negative on
Yeah.
short arms?
Short arms, and that would be a pair of short arms or just one short arm?
I don't know if it's
like
full.
a crab or like a little crab.
I don't know if they just go in a circle.
So they have short arm syndrome for your.
I'm assuming
viewers.
it's both arms are short because if it's one, they just go in a circle.
Right, but you think that might be an advantage for a tackle because aren't they not supposed to grab?
Yeah.
And if their arms are shorter, maybe that. I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder if having no arms would be helpful if you had good technique.
You have no arms. Remember that?
I have no arms.
Remember that?
I still have a mouth.
Get back here and fight, but you have no arms or legs. You're
it,
spewing blood.
Is that
Monty Python.
Holy Grail?
Yeah, first one, right?
Yeah, that's a
Did
good
you?
one.
Obviously, you love that movie, right?
It's a great movie. Yeah.
Do you remember the opening? The millisecond I knew I was going to love the original Monty Python Holy Grail. The millisecond.
Yeah.
The movie starts, and there's kind of a the castle shot. It's dark and dreary, like the castle hangouts are always.
Sure.
And they have a camera shot looking at the horizon, probably 400 or 500 yards, I guess. And the horizon's kind of. You remember seeing where I'm going?
No, I don't remember this.
So
one.
it opens up, and all of a sudden, above the horizon, the camera's shooting this way, and you can start seeing heads popping up. Right.
Is this what you're hearing?
You're killing my joke.
Oh, sorry.
Gee. You're a professional comedian?
I'm just helping you. That's not the punchline.
That's it.
No, that's not the funny part.
But you start seeing heads starting to bob up
Yeah.
and down above the horizon out there. And you could tell, okay, it looks like they've got warrior helmets on and all. And you go, okay, there's like 15, 20, 30 on horses.
Right.
Okay, they're this posse's rolling up here.
Sure.
Well, as they get closer and closer and closer, as you know, they're not on horses.
No.
Each horseman has its own coconut fake, and they got coconuts.
That's their job. Yeah, that's their job.
I'm going to love this movie.
Oh, that's a good part.
Wasn't that great?
So
and do you remember when they get all the way to the castle?
Yeah.
And they start talking to the people in the castle. Blah, 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 blah. Well, if you watch it close enough, the 15 or so horsemen, quote unquote.
Right.
You know how a horse, if you pull up on a horse, it's not going to stay still. It's going to kind of, well, the coconut guys are going.
Oh yeah, they were slowing down.
No, as they're kind of.
That is good. I wonder, we should get together and see if it stands the test of time, because I have not seen that movie in like 20 years.
I haven't seen a lot. Really funny.
Like, would it be stupid? Would it be like something you're like, this isn't even funny? Why did I ever think this was funny?
Yeah.
It sounds funny when you talk about it. I speaking of servants in Monty Python movies, you remember the Piss Boys and the Mel Brooks's? I guess that'd be a Mel Brooks movie. The Meaning of Life.
Help me. Walk us through it.
These guys also a similar sort of.
And you can't say piss on the air.
Really?
I don't know.
Oh. Okay, urination boys.
I think he said piss boys earlier.
They did. Yeah. They carried around like urinals, and so whenever one needed to relieve themselves, you'd say, "Excuse me, piss boy," and they'd have to come over and stand by you, and then wait for the shake.
That's got to be a minimum wage job, right?
I guess. I don't know.
Was it Monty Python also that said, "Bring out your dead"?
Yes, that was.
But I'm not dead. You'll be dead soon.
That was the same movie, I think, right? Yeah.
I got home yesterday. Was working a little bit. Got home.
Stalking people.
Yeah, stalking a little bit. Yeah, and flipping channels. And there's a new channel that's carrying nothing but Saturday Night Live, right? And I don't love modern Saturday Night Live as much as I.
Sure.
It was Saturday Night Live. Chris Farley special. They had all of his.
That's a good one.
Hilarious.
Yeah, he was definitely good. What do you call it? Just used his body.
A physical comedy.
Physical comedy, exactly.
Dude, you should do physical comedy.
Yeah.
Wednesday, just fall and.
Do that like the Chevy Chase used to do when he was impersonating
and
Gerald
if you really,
Ford.
Yeah, and break your ankle or something.
Yeah,
and
that'd be good.
And I know Dr. Aaron Bates from Southeast.
That's good. You think they'll sponsor my comedy show?
Yeah. What's the deal? We're about to get you out of here because I'm pretty much tired. What's the deal? We're all dressed in a nice suit here. What do we guys? What are we doing? Did you throw anybody in jail today?
I do not do that type of law.
Yeah, you do.
Even your streamers. What do you call people that watch streamers? Watchers?
I don't know.
Got watchers, your stalkers. The Terry Norvelle, Young and Norvelle stalkers.
You know, the stalking ratio goes up when you come on the show.
Yeah, that's good. You do need to call your people something. I know some of the other shows call their viewers something. You can call yours stalkers.
But let's get back to what were we getting back to?
I think you had the Iditarod on here. Did you want to cover that before we left?
Did you hear about the Iditarod?
Yeah, that's the Huskies and sleds and stuff. Very tough.
Been going on for a bazillion years.
Right.
Very important event in that part of the world.
It's a bazillion miles.
So last week we're talking about it a little bit. I'm like, it's 1,100 miles. Okay,
Right.
out in the elements, it's below freezing. Out in
Right.
the elements, they've done it for 100,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
The latest is this year's race. I think it's
Right.
going right. They added 100 miles.
That's a lot.
Because 1,100 wasn't enough in
No.
freezing cold.
I wonder if they surveyed the dogs, like asked the dogs whether
They
were in favor of that addition.
I don't know. I don't think they did. But the reason is there's 2 courses I found out.
Okay.
They bounce back every year.
I
different
see,
ones.
kind of like the U.S. Open or
a
whatever.
little bit, but they're basically 1,100 miles.
Yeah.
Multiple days, multiple nights. You're staying in. Well, the course that they were doing this year, not quite enough snowfall in certain areas, so they had to reroute and added 100 because 1,100 is not enough.
Yeah, I would be disappointed in that.
1,100
Yeah.
miles.
So you won't be doing it.
No, I'm not going to.
You were going to do it at 1,100, weren't
but
you?
both of us could be good jockeys.
Yeah. You think we could ride the
the
dogs?
Yeah, we got to.
What does that sound?
What sound? Did you hear something going? Like
Yeah.
that?
What is that?
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay.
Was it kind of like?
It's an amazing guess on your part.
Was
then.
it kind of like?
Yeah, it sounded like when you used to dial up for AOL.
No, I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay.
You remember that?
Yes, you're amazing at guessing.
Do you remember that though?
I do.
Back in the day, and you got charged on the internet by the minute.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do. It was really hard to look at anything inappropriate.
Well, being serious for a moment, when it all started, the internet and all, and going and surfing, you literally, and you're old like me, I know you remember this.
Yep.
You literally, once you finally, AOL got hooked up, you could kill 4 hours and time would be gone.
Oh, yeah.
But you were being charged by the minute. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and hopefully nobody picked up the phone in your house, the landline. And that
why
would kill the whole
is
thing.
that? And I know we need to get you going.
I'm your comedy and your law expert. Now I'm going to be your tech support, too?
Yeah. IT. Michael, you're with IT.
I am not, but I'm younger than you, so I think that makes me your IT.
I've had this question for a long time. We can tie in the AOL noise with just the standard fax noise.
They were both the same.
Obviously, somewhere, somehow, and help me, smart people, somebody had to determine what the noise is for a fax.
Oh.
Why?
Oh, I don't think it was by design. I think that's the sound that whatever it is that comes.
You can't hide that sound. You can't blanket it with like a beautiful song or.
Well, you were taking one form of electrical impulses and
that's
turning
how
it into
it had
something
to sound?
else. I don't know about that, but it had to. I mean, obviously it didn't have to because it doesn't sound like that anymore. But in that day and age,
you're making my point.
That was the way it did. And by the way, when we heard it back in the old days, we thought it was something high tech. Now it's like cavemen.
Yes, it's like.
Yeah.
Here comes my message.
Right.
Yeah. Click.
There's a lot of change
Is
we've
that
had in
not
our lifetime.
literally? Why did that sound have to be the worst sound in the world?
Well, I think fingers on the nails on the chalkboard probably is a little worse.
You think?
I think so.
My goodness! All right, give me something good. Make me laugh.
I don't have anything
Make
funny.
Make me laugh. You're a funny man.
No, I didn't even bring my notes because we were there. But
you're all dressed up from court. Did you throw anybody in jail today?
I did not. You asked me that already. I just deposed somebody today. I deposed a person, and that's always fun. You get to learn a lot about people when you sit.
Can you talk about it?
No. I mean, I could talk about depositions generally.
Were they the bad person?
They were a witness for the person who's suing my client. So I
give us just the outside. I mean, was it somebody ate a burger that had a toenail in it?
No, my clients don't like me talk about their stuff.
Come on,
it's not that interesting.
Come on,
just some person.
Did you throw anybody in jail today?
Just ask me. That's the third time.
Did I ask you
It's
that?
like being with my mom.
No, okay. But As we wrap it up,
Yes.
were you busy today?
I was very busy today.
You had a lot of
I
stuff
did
on
work.
your docket. On your docket? Do you have a docket?
I have a docket.
Or is that a judge?
I did the work. Well, I don't know.
Did
It's
you
calendar.
throw anybody in jail today, though?
Yeah, I'm about to throw you in jail.
did you come close to throwing anybody?
I'm coming really close.
Did you think about
Really close. I need a week off. This has been enough. I have a week
So,
off.
Let me get this straight. As the employer, employee,
Yes.
I'm paying you for next week, and you're not going to show
It's
up?
reconnaissance. I'm going out to find new funny stories
not-
that I will come back and
Hey,
share.
on your cruise, did you tell anybody you're a comedian?
Yeah, I told people.
Did you make anybody laugh?
I hope so. Yeah.
Did anybody laugh at you?
Yeah. I mean, nobody. That happens all the time, even when I'm not telling
Did
jokes.
they happen to have like a comedian at night?
No. It's a small ship. They just brought in musicians from the local market, and
Do you play?
did I play? No.
Do you play anything?
I play drums. I'm
You
a
do?
drummer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that photo.
Yeah, I'm a drummer.
That time. Are you would you consider yourself more John Bonham, boom, or Stuart Copeland?
Ooh, I like Stuart
Or
Copeland.
Buddy Rich?
More Buddy. I wish I had Stuart Copeland's reggae chops, but
I wish you had John Bonham with the big boom.
Yeah. No, I'm not in the class.
He
of
was
any
with
of
a
them.
group called Led Zeppelin.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Last thing.
John Henry Bottom, I believe. they
Nice.
called him.
John Henry Bottom. Moby Dick.
Yeah.
I'll leave you with this. I promise. I promise to let you go.
All right, you're gonna ask me whether I put anyone in jail.
Did you put anybody in jail today? Did you? Did you think about it? Did you come close?
Like I said, I'm getting closer by the minute.
Speaking of, we talked about Chris Farley earlier, and
Yeah.
we talked about yesterday. I tuned in late in the afternoon. They had a Chris Farley Saturday Night Live special. I always get. He did that one gig.
Chippendale?
They had that.
Yeah, that's
it was
a good one.
hilarious. When he's the worst interviewer ever.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
Well, he did it reoccurring.
Yeah.
So
not the guy by the river.
No, down by the Matt Foley.
Yeah, Matt Foley.
Motivational speaker. I live with a van down by the.
So he was an interviewer.
He had and it was a running thing while he was on there, and he had all the big stars, and he would sit them down.
Right.
And he was just a bad interviewer.
Yeah.
So he did it with a bunch of stars. He did it with McCartney.
Oh, Paul McCartney? Oh,
was,
wow.
was hosting, who's my favorite of all time in the world. So it's just a standard 2-seat.
Right.
Right. And Farley is bumbling through, but it's the Chris Farley show. Whatever.
So you can't ask a single question.
So he hey everybody, Chris Farley, my guest today, Paul McCartney. So
Right.
he's like, he's all nervous
Right.
with each guest. He's looking at his car. So you remember when you were with the Beatles? He asked, and McCartney. Well,
It's a good setup.
Well, that was a pretty big time in my life. You remember when y'all recorded the White Album? Well, maybe the five best albums of all. Yeah. And he's stupid. It's good.
That sounds funny.
It's good.
I don't remember that one.
Nobody does. Still.
No, I don't. That's not a good.
As we leave,
Yes.
Serious question: did you throw anybody in jail today?
I did not, but thank you for having me on the show as always.
Whoa! It appears you're running out of here.
And I bet you want to get back to talking about sports.
Is
don't
this the
you?
last one?
No.
The last time I could kind of feel that. This is it.
I
Hey, it
love
was good having you, though, man. It's good to get you know.
wonderful to be here.
And now, are we going to say I fired you or you quit?
It was a mutual decision.
Get him out of here. We're replacing you
Right.
with Brent Beard on the other side.
You're buying up.
That is Mike Freed. Your next gig is where? When?
Wednesday, the Comedy Zone Jacksonville over at the
Ramada
Inn.
Inn. You can go see Mike. And when does it kick off? And
It's like 7:00 show.
when will you be on? You do dinner?
You
do dinner
can
over
get
there?
some of the best bar food ever.
Oh.
So come on out to the Comedy Zone.
All right.
Yeah.
He's done with us.
All
We're
right.
done with him. He's been fired. This is Mike Freed. Let's take there you go. Out of Bounds, sports comedy right here on the Young and Norvelle Show. We'll take a break, come back, wrap things up with some college basketball and football talk with Brent Beard on the other side.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry. We still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Okay, let's get right back into it. Going to talk a little bit of college football. Apropos, look at the wall there at the College Football Hall of Fame. Gators right in the middle. Also squeeze in some basketball before we get out of here on a Monday. Brent Beard joins us right now. There he is. Mr. Beard, what's shaking, my man?
A fascinating week. And just because you even win the SEC tournament that starts on Wednesday, very few of the teams over the last 10 or so years or more have won the NCAA tournament. So it will be a fun week. Can Terry Norvelle stay awake for all of it?
I will. I can. I can't wait. I love this time of year. These next 3 weeks for me.
It really is.
3.5 weeks actually. You've got conference tournament week. Mm-hmm. Major conference tournament week. And, does it matter for all the big boys? I'm not sure. But that leads us right into round 1 and 2, Sweet 16, Elite 8, and then championship game. Cannot wait. Mm-hmm. Brent, we don't have to spend a lot of time with Florida. They took care of business. Florida very little bit of a hangover, I think. Senior day, everybody gets announced. Their parents are out. They played a little sloppy in the first half against a pretty good Ole Miss team. Florida, real business-like. Alex Connon. The Gators are playing really good basketball. We don't have to spend a lot of time on that. Alabama-Auburn. I worked most of the day Saturday, got home, and I was following the game on my phone, got home, final 4 minutes regulation, overtime. What a thrilling that's what college rivalries are supposed to. You could feel it out of the TV. You really could, couldn't you?
Yeah. This is a hard statement to make a few years ago, but you can make it now. Alabama and Auburn right now is a better rivalry than North Carolina and Duke.
It is. And what a shame I get it. Game day was at Auburn, Alabama earlier in the year. What a shame game day was at
Really?
North Carolina Duke.
Yes.
A real meaning. I don't even think North Carolina's going to make the tournament, barring a couple of wins. What a shame. And I get it. They were at Florida the week before. And I get it a little bit, but my God, how do you not go back to Auburn and Alabama? The game's tied in regulation. It goes overtime. My 30-point rule was in place again Saturday. I've been tracking this the last 2 years or so with our teams that we follow. And, Brent, I don't know if you even know this. Generally, the really good teams, I think this speaks to teams win games more than individuals. The Alabamas, and the Auburns. Great players on all three teams. If you tracked it, Walter Clayton has scored 30 or more points like 4 or maybe 5 times as a Gator. They basically lose every game.
Yeah.
Mark Sears scored 30 the other night against Florida, lost the game going away. And that's happened a couple times with Sears. Janai Broome had 34 the other day in the game Saturday.
Yeah.
What does that speak? You almost would rather have your star give you 25, but you need 2 or 3 other guys, not one guy giving you 35.
Yeah, to give you evidence for that and to back that up, Mark Sears, I think he shot the ball 9 times. But here's the important thing is, it would be the rest of his resume for Saturday was, he led the team in assists.
Yeah.
He even gets a few rebounds, but he doesn't have to score to play well. I would agree with that.
What I loved too was even in a losing effort, Broome hit big shots at the end.
Did.
My God, he hit big shots. Speaking of the biggest shot, though, obviously Sears won it at the buzzer. The ball leaves his hands as the buzzer's going off. Brent, as Mark Sears was getting the handoff, whatever it was, pass, handoff, and he was going toward the lane, I didn't really care who won the game. I was convinced that shot was going in.
Yeah.
Mark Sears was going to make that shot, and he did. A little float, a little teardrop.
It reminded me of the Gator win on a teardrop in the NCAA tournament. Was that
Chiozza, I think it was.
That's exactly who it was.
Chiozza against Wisconsin.
I tell you who really stepped up his game, and that was Grant Nelson.
Really played well.
Who really played well in the first half. Now I want to mention this too, and I think this is important. As good as Auburn is, Terry, seriously here, they've got to do something to rein in Chad.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
You remember he cost them that Yale game last year.
The opening game.
In the opening game of the NCAA tournament, got kicked out of the game, gets kicked out of this game. Look, at some point, and I'm not saying that no one gave him an elbow too, and they probably did.
Sure.
But look, a guy like that, Terry, instead of coddling him, the thing they really need to do is, and people have asked, would the league actually do this? I doubt it. But when you've got a flagrant 2, they may have considered it in the league office to give him a little vacation game 1.
And for what people don't know, if you're not aware, Chad Baker Mazzara is a really good player for Auburn. He's needed on that team. He's a key cog on Auburn's team. The last 2 seasons, and we're not even done with this season yet.
Yeah.
He's been kicked out of 2 games. He got kicked out of the opening March Madness game where Auburn lost to Yale, got kicked out of that game for flagrant. And Saturday, he got kicked out of the Auburn-Alabama game. Brett, number one, it's hard to get kicked out of a basketball game.
It really is.
It's really hard. He's had these 2 incidents, but he's had a lot of other flare-ups, if you should say. And you wonder, man, if you're Bruce Pearl, I'm not going to say that Broome had negative comments, but he was asked by the media, and Broome's the leader of that team. He had some, he's our teammate, and we need him, and all. you got to worry a little bit about team chemistry and all right now
really
going into the playoffs. So I think Pearl's got something on his hands, And what you said a moment ago, now Baker Mazzara, the other teams are going to be whispering stuff to him. They're going to walk by. They're going to walk by the line and say, "Hey, they're going to goat him." I think.
Terry, wasn't Baker Mazzara also involved in that dust up they had on the plane? You remember when they made that plane trip? Was that to Houston?
I think that was. They came back out after a big win, and it was a weird story. Auburn, the plane had to reroute because players were fighting players. How weird! How weird was? I forgot about that this year. Yeah.
I think he was in the middle of that too.
Wow. Florida wins. Alabama wins. Boy, Alabama needed that game. They need. Auburn, I know, is on a 2-game losing streak and all, but Auburn they didn't dog it Saturday, but they kind of dogged it the game before. Alabama needed that win, didn't they?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, they'll I think they play the winner, and probably gonna be either Kentucky or Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma, Georgia play. Winner plays Kentucky. Winner then plays Alabama.
Right. So Bama's played Kentucky the last. I'll bet you. We'll get this week. I'll bet you Alabama's played Kentucky in the SEC tournament like 10 of the last 15 years to basically open the tournament. At some point, that gets going to be ridiculous. And look again. The thing that we talked about Duke and UNC a few minutes ago, and again another Duke route, and who cares? So
did you hear the stat? I want to give it credit. I was watching. I don't know if it was Patrick and the guys, ESPN, whoever I was watching Saturday. How about this stat? And before you start saying, what about Clemson? When Clemson beat Duke a couple weeks ago, Clemson was not ranked. Okay, let me just throw that caveat out there.
Right.
Duke this year, the last opponent they played that was ranked at the time they played them was December 4th, Auburn. My God. Where is – and Duke may win the national title. They may have the best player. But I'm just saying, where is the love for Duke coming from? My God. Florida should be ahead of Duke when it comes to one seed. Let me say it again. Duke has not played a ranked basketball opponent since December 4th.
That's criminal.
My God.
I mean, and look, I think Duke now is number one.
They went up to number one today in the two polls.
As of the poll, I mean, listen, if you're AP writers and your coaches, I mean, how can you do that? How can you reward?
How can you do that and still say, like we used to talk about football, college football? How can you even reference strength of schedule? And to take it, and here's Terry pitching Florida. I'm going to admit that. But not only Duke with that terrible stat, how about Houston? Houston's good, by the way. They're well coached.
Really
I don't like Kelvin Sampson, but he's a good basketball coach. Houston is also 27-4. They've got 4 losses. 2 of Houston's losses this year were to Alabama and Auburn, 2 teams that Florida has already defeated on their court.
Right.
How could Florida be? And I get it. The Big 12's a nice conference. It ain't the SEC, boys.
No, it's not. And Terry, look, I'll back up what you're saying. I think Florida may be the best team in the nation.
I think they are. On a neutral court, I would take them.
I really do. I mean, Condon is just and listen, I'm not exaggerating here. I know he won't get it, but because it'll be, it'll either be Broom or it'll be Flag. Sure. But I would debate anybody. Condon right now is playing as well as anybody in the nation for his team.
He really is. And you're seeing he's always been a good player, athletic player, figuring out basketball, a late bloomer to the game. He was a rugby guy, I think. It looked like and you see these with players. This happened with players. It looks like the last 2 games or so, I hate to use that cliche, he's taken it to another level.
Well, he has.
He
has.
He's quicker. He's more decisive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I've been saying now for about 3 weeks. I think Florida, and I always qualify it, it's hard to win championships. It is really hard to win. The best team doesn't always win. I think it's pretty, to me, in my naked eye, on a neutral court, I think Florida's the best team in the country.
Yeah,
Basketball. I think they're clearly the best team in the country.
I don't deny that at all. And if they get a good draw, they may look. It may be the round of 16 before they or going to the Elite Eight before they get some real competition.
And we've got 45 seconds, so let me throw this out. If Florida does, in my opinion, get screwed and get the number 1 seed, if you know what I mean. They will go out west. They will go out to San Francisco. But their first 2 games, their first 2 rounds will be in Raleigh. They're tied in.
That's right.
So they would play, in a perfect world, Raleigh, go out and play your Sweet 16 and your Elite 8 in San Francisco. No telling who they play. And then, if you win those 2, everybody meets in San Antonio. So that's not a terrible draw. You'd prefer going through Atlanta. You'd prefer your Elite 8 and Sweet 16 game. Right. But Auburn's probably going to get that benefit of the doubt. Brent, we got to run. Got 20 seconds left. Let's visit later in the week. Spring ball going on, football.
Yes.
I guess not a lot has happened yet, but everybody's pretty much opened up. We'll do it next week. And we just lost Brent Beard, but we appreciate it. Got Brent on a little bit late. We'll bring him on before the end of the week. That'll do it. Talk to you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we